Hey, what's up guys? This is Cole with CJC Off-Road. Today we are going to answer one of the most frequent questions we see from you guys, and that is how do I fit 37s on my Ram 2500 or 3500? For the sake of simplicity, we're putting this video together for 2014 and newer Ram 2500s and 2013 and newer 3500s. If you have an older Ram, actually one of our buddies here, Just Diesels, did a really nice video that covers that. So if you're curious about 37-inch tire fitting on those earlier trucks, feel free to check out his video he put together for that. One thing I'd really like to demystify before we get too involved in this is the 37-inch tire taboo kind of thing that we hear sometimes. Some guys say, hey, 37-inch tires are huge. Why would I want to put those under my truck? Keep in mind, this is not Toyota Tacoma, right? So 37s aren't going to kill your truck's fuel mileage like they do on those trucks. They're not going to raw power like they do on those trucks. A few reasons for that. These trucks have a whole heck of a lot more torque than most vehicles on the market. Everything's designed to be overkill for towing, incredible weights, right? So some of these trucks are for like 18,000 pounds towing capacity. Things like that in mind. Something like a 37-inch tire isn't going to do what it's going to do on a typical half-ton, gas application truck, right? So something we really want to drive home on our personal trucks. We run 37-inch tires on all of them, right? We don't feel that there's been a major decrease in braking capability on the trucks. We don't feel like power's been robbed. Highway fuel economy is actually not that changed as long as the truck's driven reasonably. So you also stand to gain a lot more in terms of what the 37-inch tires offer. So you have more sidewall, which helps with ride quality. You have more clearance of the axle in terms of height. So, for minor off-road usage, you actually have a much more practical all-around setup. Not to mention it looks really good. The size of the fender openings on these newer trucks are so large that we find that 35-inch tires kind of have more of like a stock OE appearance, and for that reason, we really like running the 37s. Kind of helps not only give like I'd say a cooler overall look, but it's actually a very proportionate look with how these newer trucks are built. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So there are two key elements to this. One is wheel specs and one is the truck suspension. We'll start with wheel specs because that is the most critical element of this. For an effective range, anywhere between +6 and +27 offset are the typical offsets that we would prefer when running 37-inch tires under these trucks. +6 would be like the trail ready wheels that we saw on our website, all the way up to +27, which is AEV wheels. So +27, being that's a more positive number on the offset, is actually going to sit more inset inside the fender, more similar to your stock wheels, whereas the lower the number or even negative when it comes to offset will actually push the wheel further out. For context, your factory wheels are actually going to be about +45 offset. So basically you're playing this game of millimeters here between being too far inset like your factory wheels or being too far outward like a lot of the wheels you'll see on the internet when you see these trucks posted. To get this out of the way, stock wheels are very inset under these trucks, and so we try to avoid riding the stock wheels because you put 37s on those, you got to rub on your sway bar, you rub on your radius arms. They're really not a very practical combination. So what we have is that effective range of +6 to about +25. Figure about +18 to +25, anywhere in there, you will be able to get away with running a 37 by 12.5 tire with basically little to no plastic trimming on these trucks. This again applies from 2014 all the way up to the current model 2023, 2024 trucks. So say you want to run something that sticks out a little more, something that sits a little more aggressive, that's where you're going to push more toward that +6. Also, if you want to run like a 13.5-inch wide tire, +18 in some cases with certain 13.5-inch tires will just result in the tires contacting your truck's radius arms, especially when it comes to TOYO MTs. TOYO MTs, even though it says 13.5 inches wide on those tires, most of them measure closer to about 15 inches wide, so that you get a really big balloon tire. And for that reason, we usually just say, for simplicity's sake, 37 by 12.5, whether it's 17, 18, or 20, paired with, I'd say +18, +25 offset anywhere in there. That's generally like the safe zone as far as easy 37-inch tire clearance. The second major component to clearing 37-inch tires under these trucks is actually going to be in your truck's suspension. So you'll probably see pictures of online trucks that are completely stock running 37s. That has been done. It's not something we prefer, because we prefer, if you're going to go ahead and be upgrading things under the truck, running bigger tires, why not take advantage of the nice suspension options out there to really improve how the truck rides and drives. Aside from the fenders, right, so we addressed that earlier in this video with running the right offsets. The other main place you'll see 37-inch tires and larger rubbing under these trucks is going to be on your truck's radius arms and on your truck's sway bar. You'll notice most of the higher end suspension components we sell for these trucks actually address those with higher clearance alternatives to help with tire clearance. That's a real important consideration when you're selecting a combination of suspension, wheels, and tires for your build. Keep in mind too, most typical leveling kits out there do not address track bar geometry. The reason track bar geometry is important is because the adjustable track bar underneath these trucks is actually the component required to recenter the front axle when running a leveling kit under these trucks. So say you put a 2.5-inch leveling kit by itself under your truck, your front axle is actually going to be shifted. Put that adjustable track bar on there, axle's back recentered. Very optimal in terms of tire clearance and a little more forgiving overall. We spent a lot of time putting together our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram channels as a resource basically to see what 37-inch tires look like with a proper suspension setup and wheel combination under these trucks. So if you want to see some examples, we have tons of examples on all of those channels. Now, your local tire shop may say, hey, you got to run 6 inches of lift to run 37-inch tires. And actually, if you run the incorrect combination of parts, that may be true. That's why I wanted to kind of put together this video to kind of clear things up and help basically make a resource for putting together a nice, clean, effective build to run 37-inch tires on your truck. With that in mind, to summarize everything here, when you're shopping for wheels, try to stick with, I'd say, 8 to 9.5 inches wide wheels. For easy trimming, plus 18 to plus 25 offset, usually that's just a little bit of plastic trimming. If you don't mind doing some pinch weld trimming, something along those lines, we actually have a video that covers that. And if you're willing to do that, actually closer to 0 offset can work as well, although we try to avoid that just because, these are really nice trucks. All these trucks are brand new, and so we really try not to cut them up too much if we can help it. And the other thing to consider is tire width, right? So 37 by 12.5 is generally always going to be the most forgiving. It's what you'll see on, I'd say, 90% of the builds that we put out through our shop. There's a reason for that. It works really well, and there's not a whole lot of fighting in terms of making them fit. 13.5-inch tires can be run. It's just going to be a little bit more involved in terms of clearancing the truck for them. There's going to be a little bit more give and take, right? So essentially, the more aggressive the tire, the wider the look, the more difficult it's going to be to fit that wheel and tire combination. So keep that in mind as you're putting your truck together. Being a little bit more on the conservative side in terms of wheel and tire combinations can really pay off in keeping your overall build clean and simple. Suspension-wise, sticking with a lot of the higher-end components really makes a big difference. Again, a lot of the higher-end options we carry address a lot of the things geometry-wise to help with tire fitment, right? So you have radius arms, sway bars, designed for optimal tire clearance. You have a track bar built in, basically designed to recenter the front axle and help as much as possible with clearance. So there's a lot to consider seemingly with that, but we try to, with these videos and with the resources on our website, basically demystify this whole process and make it as simple as possible to get a nice combination on your truck. So if you have any questions as far as what we recommend for your particular build, if you have a wheel that you're looking at on our site that you're saying, hey, is this what I need? By all means, don't hesitate to reach out. We have people standing by on phones, emails, social media. We're more than happy to help you dial in your exact combination for your build and basically help get the optimal setup to fit 37s on your truck. If you like what you see, we have a lot more content coming soon. So appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much.